Hello students, I am Dr. Suresh, Associate Professor, Department of Radiodiagnosis. I'll be taking the class for you all on chest radiology today. So coming to chest radiology, so some of the different views what we use for X-rays basically are posterior anterior view, the PA, the AP, the lateral, the oblique, the penetrated decubitus, translateral, inspiratory and expiratory faces, and lordotic view or apicogram. Basically, I will be talking to you of the use of chest X-rays for the diagnosis of chest disorders. So, we can here see the X-ray PA view of the chest showing the different structures from outside to inside. You have the soft tissues, the thoracic cage, the diaphragm, the lung fields, the trachea, the heart, and the hyla. Then coming to bronchopulmonary segments, you have different bronchopulmonary segments in each lung, the right lung and the left lung. So these bronchopulmonary segments are anatomic units and help us to delineate the pathology in the particular segment of the lungs. So some of the common pathologies of chest radiology are, first of all, pleural effusion. The common causes are trauma, hypoproteinemia, infection, cardiovascular causes, uremia, pancreatitis, cirrhosis, hypothyroidism, and pulmonary embolism or infarction. Now coming to the type of pleural fluid. Pleural fluid can be either transudate or exudate, or it can be hemothorax or chylothorax. It can be simple, loculated subpulmonic, or it can be frank pus, that is the empyema. So first of all, this is a chest X-ray PA view showing bare minimal pleural effusion. You can see the right side, there is minimal pleural effusion blunting the right CP angle. So minimal pleural effusion is seen in this case too on the left side. So you can see moderate pleural effusion. There is a large pleural effusion on the left side, causing whiteout of the left lung, obscuring the left heart border and left CP angle. So it's almost a opaque hemithorax on the left side, except for a small aerated zone of lung in the superior zones. So you can see massive pleural effusion. The left lung field is completely white. The cardia, the trachea, the mediastinum is pushed towards the right side, and the right lung is aerated, whereas the left lung is completely obscured, and there is massive pleural effusion on the left side. So pleural effusion can sometimes be loculated. So you can see the loculated pleural effusion, wherein the pleural fluid forms locules within the parietal and visceral pleura. So you can see on the right side in the mid and lower zones and portion of the upper zone, there is a well-defined opacity with well-defined superior medial borders. Inferior border is not well made out. So another case of bilateral loculated pleural effusions in the bilateral lung fields. So next is empyema. Empyema is nothing but pus within the pleural cavity. So here again empyema will also look like a pleural effusion, because on chest X-ray we cannot rule out whether it's plain fluid or empyema. You can see that the pleural fluid is obscuring the right CP angle, the right mid and lower zones. So next is pleural thickening. Pleural thickening is the thickening of the pleura. So here you can see pleural thickening on the left side. So there's another case of pleural calcification, wide variety of diseases. For example, asbestosis also causes a pleural calcification. Then pneumothorax. Pneumothorax is air within the pleural cavity. There are a number of causes: spontaneous traumatic asthma, cavitary pneumonias, neoplasms, cystic fibrosis, histiocytosis, sarcoidosis, pleural metastasis, iatrogenic, and ruptured esophagus. These are the common causes of pneumothorax. So what are the radiological signs of pneumothorax? So there is increased lucency of hemithorax, increased sharpness of mediastinum, cardia and diaphragm, deep costophrenic sulcus, visualization of collapsed lung edge, absence of lung markings, depression of diaphragm, and shift of the mediastinal structures. So here you can see pneumothorax, the entire right lung is black, right lung field is black. There is air within the pleural cavity on the right side, so widening the costophrenic sulcus, which is deep. So you cannot see and appreciate any vascular markings in the right lung field, whereas the normal left lung is aerated and you can appreciate vascular markings. So this is a case of tension pneumothorax when large amounts of air accumulate in the pleural cavity and cause collapse of the lung on that side. So you can see the borders of the collapsed lung, right lung, and plenty of air surrounding the lung on the right side. So this is tension pneumothorax. This is a medical emergency because the patient will be breathless. You have to put a wide bore needle and drain out the air within the pleural space. So next is hydropneumothorax. Hydropneumothorax is both air and fluid within the pleural cavity. So it will have features of pneumothorax, air fluid levels in upright films. So the nature of the fluid cannot be diagnosed and distinguished on chest X-ray except when we do aspiration and send it for lab analysis. So again you can see an air fluid level in hydropneumothorax. The air being lighter rises above the fluid. So fluid forms a horizontal level. On the right side you can see a horizontal level and above which air is there. There is no vascular markings in the air where there is absence of lung tissue, and this zone is filled with air. You can see the collapsed lung on the towards the which is medially displaced. Next, coming to consolidation. Consolidation is nothing but lung hardening, and it implies replacement of air in one or more acini by fluid or solid material. It has many causes. Some of the common causes are acute inflammatory exudate associated with pneumonia, cardiogenic or non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema, hemorrhage and aspiration, and also neoplasms and alveolar proteinosis. So here you can see an opacity with an air bronchogram on the left, mid and lower zones, predominantly in the lower zones, obscuring the adjacent diaphragm or mediastinum. What is air bronchogram? In consolidation, the patent bronchi will have air within them and they will be seen in the background of consolidated lung. So these translucent air which is seen in the bronchi, in the patent bronchi, they are called as air bronchograms. So you can see again consolidation, large consolidation affecting the right, upper, mid and lower zones. Next is collapse. Collapse or atelectasis implies diminished volume of air in the lung with associated partial or complete loss of volume of lung. So the mechanisms of collapse are relaxation or passive due to increased fluid or air collection in the pleural space, cicatrization as in pulmonary fibrosis, and decreased surface tension as in respiratory distress syndrome. So you can see the collapsed left lung. So by large, you can see the right lung is herniating and crossing the midline to compensate for the loss of volume in the left lung. So you can have segmental collapse as in this case, right low lobe collapse. You can see here the right low lobe is not clearly visualized. It's replaced by a opacity, and it also obscures the right heart border, and the right dome of diaphragm is also obscured as well. Then lung abscess. What is lung abscess? It's a cavitating lesion secondary to infection by pyogenic bacteria. There is suppuration and necrosis of lung tissue which can lead to the pathology and occurs in tuberculosis, fungal infections, neoplasms and infected cysts. So what are the radiological signs of lung abscess? It's a well-defined rounded opacity with central cavity and fluid level, large cavity with or without fluid level surrounded by diffuse consolidation, diffuse clouding, that is haziness with multiple small cavities, that is a suppurative pneumonia, and multiple well-defined oval opacities with central cavitation and fluid levels. The differential diagnosis of lung abscess are infected encysted hydrothorax or pneumothorax and infected lung cysts. So you can see lung abscess. So you can see a well-defined air fluid level, thick-walled air fluid level, cavitating, which type of lesion. So this lung abscess is prone to, later on it will be cavitatory. So now it is fluid and air within the abscess, and the abscess is thick-walled in the right, mid, and lower zones. So another lung abscess in the right mid zone, thick shaggy walls, irregular. So this is another case of lung abscess. So next, coming to hydrated cysts. Hydrated cysts, as you all know, caused by Echinococcus granulosus, Echinococcus species. So you can see well-defined, rounded, opaque lesions in the bilateral hemithoracis, the right one being larger than the left. So these are hydrated cysts. This is the typical appearance. So there is no calcification within the hydrated cysts in the lung. So next, coming to bronchiectasis. Now what is bronchiectasis? Bronchiectasis is the reversible dilatation of the bronchial tree with chronic sputum production and hemoptysis. It can be cylindrical, varicose, cystic, and traction. Types, the common causes are recurrent chronic infections and allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, tuberculosis, and Carter syndrome. So next, coming to bronchiectasis, the appearance of which is seen on X-ray, CT, and in the gross specimen. So you can see irreversibly dilated bronchi, better appreciated on the CT as well as the specimen. So next, coming to another important lesion, that is a tubercular cavity. Here it's a chest X-ray PA view showing a tubercular cavity in the left mid zone. You can see a thick-walled cavitating lesion in the left mid zone, and also bilateral paracardiac lower zone haziness is seen in the bilateral lung fields, left more than right. So tuberculosis can lead to cavity formation. So next, coming to some highlights on lung tumors. Tumors can be benign or malignant. Benign tumors include hamartoma, bronchial adenoma, bronchial carcinoid, chondroma, myxoma, and lipoma. So you can see in the left lung field, there is a mass in the left, predominantly lower zones. You can see well-defined mass. So next, coming to bronchogenic carcinoma, it has varied appearance. It's like usually it will involve the hilum. So you can see here on the right side, the hilum is prominent. There is a mass in the right hilum which has ill-defined spiculated margins. So left hilum is normal. So you can see how the bronchogenic carcinoma appears on chest X-ray. So next is the Pancoast tumor. Pancoast tumor is nothing but a superior sulcus tumor. It will be seen in the apical segments of the lungs, and the most common pathology what it will cause is it will lead to destruction of the ribs, the first rib, sometimes the second rib as well, and it is also called a superior sulcus tumor. There are special views to diagnose Pancoast tumor, for example like the apical views or the lordotic views. So next, coming to lung metastasis. Just to show you how lung metastasis looks, many tumors, primary tumors, can metastasize to the lungs. Metastasis can be either lytic or sclerotic or cannonball in type. It can affect the bones of the thoracic cage as well. So many GI tumors, brain tumors, and so for these tumors often metastasize to the lungs. You can see bilateral in the lung fields. You can see well-defined round to oval opaque lesions occupying both lung fields, which are scattered and diffuse. This is metastasis. So coming to interstitial lung disease. So interstitial lung disease is common in it's one of the occupational diseases. It will present in chest X-ray in 4 types. There will be linear opacities, there will be reticular opacities, nodular, and a mixture of reticular and nodular called reticular nodular opacities. So here you can see pneumoconiosis, which is occupational lung disease. So you have silicosis, coal workers pneumoconiosis, and asbestosis. See, the bilateral upper and mid zones are flooded by opacities. Both reticular and nodular opacities are seen. So this is a case of pneumoconiosis. Next, coming to emphysema. Emphysema the findings in emphysema, it's an obstructive lung disease. So here you'll have depression and flattening of the diaphragm, as you all can see in this chest X-ray. There'll be radiolucency, there'll be increased retrosternal lucency. The heart will be almost like a tube, so we call it a tubular heart. And the central pulmonary artery will be enlarged, and peripheral pulmonary arteries will be pruned. Sometimes bullae will be present, and intercostal spaces will be widened. Diaphragm will be almost, flattened. So this is a case of emphysema, which is an obstructive lung disease. So next, coming to mediastinum, just to highlight, mediastinum is an important component of thoracic cage. You can revise your anatomy of the mediastinum. It has anterior media, middle and posterior mediastinum. So masses can occur in this mediastinum as well. So we have to take a PA view to see for a mediastinal mass. As you can see in this PA view chest X-ray, there is a large mass in the mediastinum extending across the midline. To confirm which compartment the mass is, we have to take a lateral chest X-ray and confirm whether it's in the anterior, middle or posterior compartment. So next, coming to pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism, obstruction of the pulmonary arteries. It can better be appreciated on CT, and few radiological signs are there, like haziness, opacity, wedge-shaped opacity on the radiograph. It can be confirmed with a contrast enhanced CT, that is a CT pulmonary angiogram can be done and made out which pulmonary arteries are involved and obstructed by the thrombus. So next, coming to chest X-rays in HIV/AIDS. So HIV/AIDS is a common disease. Just to highlight some clinical importance of chest X-ray findings in HIV/AIDS. So it may be absolutely normal, or asymmetrical findings may be there. So there will be small pneumothoraces, infiltrates, lymphadenopathy, or solitary or miliary nodules, or some cavities might be there in these AIDS patients. Now next, coming to some tubes and devices. A number of tubes and devices can be appreciated on the chest radiograph. Some of the common devices which you all can see are the Ryle's tube, the endotracheal tube, the CVP lines, the ECG leads. All these should be diagnosed and seen whether they are in the appropriate positions or whether they are displaced. So chest X-ray also is helpful in these cases. Just to highlight on, just to say, what's the major advantage of chest ultrasound versus chest X-rays? Ultrasound will detect the free pleural fluid. It will localize and it help us to diagnose encysted effusions. You can aspirate the fluid via ultrasound guidance and send the fluid for lab analysis. We can see the character of the fluid by lab analysis, and then we can start the appropriate treatment, whether it's exudate, transudate, etc. CT versus chest X-rays. CT is very helpful for lesions that are obscured by chest X-rays. Smaller lesions, smaller nodules, small effusions, small pneumothoraces, and interstitial lung diseases are best appreciated on CT. And solid lesions and vascular abnormalities can be differentiated very well. Evaluation of the mediastinum is another important aspect of CT. And enlarged lymph nodes and erosions, bone erosions, are better appreciated on CT. Thank you.